Hi, you are listening to Stay a While podcast. I'm your host, Tommi Vincent. Today's episode, Mental Health Impacts the Trajectory of Personal Success, featuring NFL executive Dr. Nyaka NiiLampti, part of a special series, Stay a While Draft Edition, was recorded live at the Power Players Awards and Mastery Reception at VU Studio in Las Vegas, Nevada. Powered by Power Hands and Vanguard Holdings Group. Let's get right into our conversation. We have joining us at the Stay a While table, Dr. Nyaka NiiLampti. Welcome.
Thrilled to be here.
I am so grateful to have an opportunity to sit down and speak with you. We've had an opportunity to have a few engagements, but you always leave me curious about you. So I'm glad we're going to have this conversation. Now listen, this week is all about, the young men that are going to be coming in to a life-altering situation. It's one thing you come from out of college and you're experiencing something new, you get adjusted, and now you have to readjust again. And mentally, that definitely causes the mind to start doing some mental gymnastics. So just so everybody understands, you are a licensed psychologist, and at the National Football League, you are the Vice President of Wellness and Clinical Services. Now, I don't know what all of that means. So I think it will be great if you could share with the audience, what does that mean? What is your role in supporting the men that are a part of the NFL family?
I appreciate that question. I tell people that my title actually sounds a lot sort of sexier than it really is, right? So I'm like, it's not really that exciting. No, it is. It's so in my role, I'm responsible for the Total Wellness platform, building it out, expanding it. And that means providing resources, wellness resources, support, education to all the members of the NFL family, right? So that means the players, their families, the coaches, the clubs, and so really sort of helping to grow that program, and so get to do a lot of really exciting things, and I think it's a population that, is, when we think about like the resources and the support that's needed to perform in this space at a high level, it's exciting to be able to offer that kind of an opportunity.
Mm-hmm. So the draft prospects, like I mentioned, they're experiencing this mental gymnastics right now. And some have an idea, an expectation of how things are going to go. Others are praying their name is called. What advice would you give to help to rest their thoughts as best as they can? Like, I know that's challenging with it in itself for anybody, but being at this pivotal moment in their life, what's something that they can do so that when they're in this moment, they can experience it, because it goes by so fast. So what's something they can do?
This is a time where all you can do is control what you can control, right? And so what does it mean to be present, to be grounded, to feel the support of the people who are around you? Because at this point, you have no idea. The decisions that get made are completely out of your control. How do you trust in knowing I did everything that I could, I worked my hardest, I put my best foot forward, and right now, enjoy being here, right? Which is hard, and that's something that us in our middle and late adults can't do. Mm-hmm. But when we think about 20-year-olds and 21-year-olds, I think it's even much more difficult.
Mm-hmm. What about the young man whose name doesn't get called, who's been playing all his life, and that everyone has been telling him, this is the path, you are going to the NFL. I hear it all the time. When my sons were playing flag football, just because of who my husband Troy is, they would say, oh, you're going to be just like your dad and you're going to the NFL. And the weight of that pressure is insurmountable. What about that young man?
It's how do you remind yourself that you are more than a football player, right? And I think this is where I also think about the importance of the community and the ecosystem, right? How do we make sure that when these young men are playing at that age, that we are helping them to establish other aspects of who they are and celebrating other, you're not just a player, you're a brother, you're a student, there are all these other pieces of us. And so how do you remind them in that moment, right, that you are more than this one thing? And life doesn't end here, right? But I think it's also the responsibility of the community to support that young man when that disappointment happens, right?
The other thing is for the community to take that pressure off of him.
Absolutely.
So if it's the family, don't put that weight on him. It's not his responsibility to bring the family along and change the trajectory of everybody in the household. So take that pressure off.
Absolutely.
So they can be in the moment and enjoy the experience.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's something that even, okay, once you get drafted or, you're in training camp and there is the responsibility of not just my family, my hometown, right? I have to make it for them. And I try to remind, guys, listen, unless you concentrate on what you're trying to do every single day and shut out some of that distraction, you won't get to September, right? So how do you take some of that pressure off of yourself? Again, knowing that you can control how you go out and play, and sometimes that might mean setting some boundaries with the folks, the distracting noises outside of it. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. And I tell young men at Combine and rookies, this is now, at this point, you have to find your community. Who are your 2 or 3 people that are going to be your support, who are going to be able to help you navigate the challenge of this next year, who are going to give you honest feedback when you need to hear it, because it's a pressure cooker. It's exciting, but it's a pressure cooker.
Yeah, being prepared. Yeah, 100%. I thank you for providing those insights, because I think it's a conversation that if we're proactive in it, that we have an opportunity to be a part of setting the young men coming in, setting them up for success. Not only success, but giving them the opportunity to enjoy the journey. This doesn't have to feel like a burden. They should be experiencing every piece of it and be fully present in the moment and not be carrying the burdens of some of the things that come along with outside pressure. So thank you for sharing that, and I thank you so much for joining me at the Stay a While table.
Thank you for the opportunity. I love all of this.
Thank you.